So do you think nowadays that people are just plain overdiagnosed?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's one of the biggest problems of the medical monopoly. And it's one of the reasons why we shouldn't even go unless it's an emergency.
Mm.
Because what they're doing is they're creating revenue streams for big pharma and big technology, big machines. A lot of people just focus on the drugs. Don't forget the machines.
Yeah.
Those MRI machines, they cost a few mil. Okay. So they're implementing these tests and they're implementing these markers. And because the markers are so low, everyone's ending up on drugs. Everyone's ending up with surgeries. There's so many people out there walking around without a gallbladder,
Mm.
without a thyroid, without a breast, a woman without a breast. More than likely, 9 out of 10, these people did not need the surgery. They were overdiagnosed.
Jeez.
Cholesterol is a great example. In the 1970s, cholesterol used to be 300. In other words, if you had 301, your cholesterol is high. Now it's 200. That's 100 points in
Yeah.
50 years. They brought it down. And if you look, they brought it down in the early 1990s. Statin drugs came out in 1987.
Mm.
So it was clearly after statin drugs. So it's like, let's bring it down and let's enhance revenue. Blood pressure, same thing.
Really?
Blood pressure used to be like 150. Now it's 120. Bone density scans, same thing. And then when you look at all the scans for the sea monster, it's out of control. Mammograms. Mammograms are not, if you look at the statistics, they are not helping. There's nothing that indicates that mammograms have slowed down sea monster of the breast. There's nothing.
Really?
Nothing. And so they scare us into, oh, you got to catch it early. No. If they catch it, they're going to run you through treatment to make money. There's this story of this doctor who was a urologist. And because he was a urologist and he was constantly dealing with sea monster of the prostate, he became paranoid. He didn't want to get sea monster of the prostate. Not just for his health, because he didn't want to be embarrassed by it. He's the doctor trying to help people.
Yeah.
So he got scanned once a year. His PSA levels went up. Okay. He was like, oh boy, here we go. He goes and he gets a biopsy. Now, a biopsy with a small gland like that, they use needles because the gland's so small. So they do needle biopsies and they do about 10. He ended up coming back negative 9 biopsies, and one of them had sea monster. One of them had sea monster out of the 10.
Mm.
So the diagnosis is the same. If you have sea monster 10 times or you have sea monster 1 time out of the 10, it's the same diagnosis. Guess what he did?
Went on treatment.
It got removed.
Wow.
He had his prostate removed, and 6 months later, he could not get himself back to work. There was no motivation to get out of bed. His sex life went down the tubes. Him and his wife had to have serious talks, marriage counseling, the whole 9 yards. This is like a 50-year-old man. And he didn't need to do that. And he was a medical monopoly doctor, but they're not trained that way. They're all trained. Sea monster, okay, go. It's like a green light. Go,
Mm-hmm.
go, 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 go. But the truth of the matter is, we all have sea monster of the cells.
Mm.
It's just a cycle. It's just a cycle. So the body takes care of that on its own. The immune system takes care of that on its own. But people aren't giving their bodies a chance. Thyroid's another one. Thyroids are ripped out all the time. They are completely overdiagnosed.
Yeah.
People are so scared that the sea monster is going to spread. That's the problem. That's why we call it the sea monster, because it's been marketed as this wild monster that's coming for you, the boogeyman in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. First of all, dementia is way worse. First of all. Okay? Second of all, your body can handle it. Your body can handle the sea monster if you do what you're supposed to do. You need to bring your antioxidants way up. Why would we bring antioxidants up? Antioxidant, oxidant. So you're battling free radical stress, free radical damage, which is oxidation. And then getting on the, of course, the 90 essential nutrients, taking out the poor 4 foods, doing postural. Your body can handle it. Now, if you have a lump, you might have to have it removed. It doesn't mean that you need radiation. It doesn't mean that you need chemo. So there's so many people out there completely overdiagnosed with so many different things. And the sea monster is one of them. Just one of them. Cholesterol is the other one. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's people out there walking around with, cholesterol in the low 100s. It's horrible for your brain,
Yeah.
horrible for your soft tissue, horrible for your hormones. I'd rather have a cholesterol score closer to 300. As long as your triglycerides aren't high, you should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And your CRP is low, and you'll be fine. So these doctors and these nurses, they don't know. They really don't know. It's not even their fault. They're just trained. They're soldiers in a war that they may or may not believe in. And it's just a tough topic. I'm still figuring out how I'm going to make social media content on this topic, because it's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Telling people not to get a mammogram, telling people not to get a colonoscopy,
Mm-hmm.
man, that's big time triggering. What do you need a colonoscopy for? To find some polyps? Non-sea monster polyps that your body's going to eliminate anyway, assuming that you're changing your health
Mm-hmm.
and getting healthy from head to toe. Your body's going to dissolve that. And they love to find stuff, because if they find the polyp, what are they going to do? They're going to schedule your next screening sooner than later.
Yeah.
So now you get another one. Now you get another camera up the booty. Now you get another one. Same thing with a mammogram. They find something, we'll schedule another one.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep running us through these tests over and over and over. And the machines are creating a return on investment. If you're a landscaper and you keep buying big, expensive lawnmowers, you're not going to want it to sit in the shed. You need to go cut lawns to make the money back.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with these machines. My philosophy is don't go to the medical monopoly, at the very least, unless you have symptoms. And even that, you need to know they're probably not going to know what to do with that either. But if a woman finds a lump in her breast, or a man finds a lump in his testicle, okay, go get a scan. It makes sense. But do you really think a scan that you got a year earlier would help you? No. It wouldn't, actually. But they've trained us to think that it would. What would have happened is they would have sent you in the treatment early without seeing if your body could handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the terms I always use is an old saying: don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And that's what the medical monopoly does over and over and over again. They throw the baby out with the bathwater. They will cut your arm off to save your shoulder, so to speak. They will constantly go to extreme measures because that's how they were taught. So the root cause issue is whoever created med school and whoever runs the AMA. That's who the enemy is.
Yeah.
The doctors and nurses, they're just soldiers. Yeah, they're not generals. But some of them can get real arrogant, like, how can you? You know, I went to school for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know you've been scammed for 10 years?
Jumpstart your head-to-toe healing journey with the Dr. Reese book trilogy. Peace Over Pain is the cult classic that explains how head-to-toe healing works and how the medical monopoly doesn't. Reverse the Cause lays out the root causes to over 60 chronic conditions. And Dinner with Dr. Reese is a unique cookbook that contains 100 recipes without the destructive poor for foods. Together, all 3 books set you on a path to head-to-toe healing. Get yours today on Amazon, Audible, or peaceoverpain.com. Also, if you'd like to ask a question, tune in every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for Dr. Reese Live.